in the forenoon at the house of Lieutenant? LT?
Yes, Lieutenant Nathaniel
Ingersoll's in Salem Village in order to their examination relating to high suspicion of sundry acts of witchcraft done or committed by them. Wow. So this tree pushes back 4 generations to my 6 times great-grandmother, Annis King.
And we have another little box to click here.
Oh, where? This one?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so, whoa. So her father, John King, my 7th or 7 times great-grandfather. Essex County, Massachusetts. And died in Massachusetts. Whoa. And her mother, Annis. Well, she was named for her mother, Annis Hoare. H-O-A-R.
Right.
Essex County, Massachusetts. Oh my gosh. And her parents, my 8 times?
8 times, yeah.
Oh my gosh. My 8 times great-grandparents. William Hoare, born about 1635, died before 1696 in Massachusetts. Dorcas Galley. Dorcas.
That's a classic New England name.
Dorcas, really? Where would that come from? That was
The Bible. It's a biblical name.
Is it? Oh, I'm a heathen. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Dorcas. I love that name. Dorcas. Born about 1635. That's 15 years after Plymouth Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God, I wish my mother was still alive. Oh, she'd have loved this.
Hi. Hi.
Jean.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we're in the Reverend John Hale house in Beverly, Massachusetts. And this portion of the house is built in 1694 for the Hale family.
It's incredible. I would love to import about half this to my house.
But I have some documents for you. They're from the Peabody Essex Museum. We are only working with copies today because their archives are under renovation.
Okay. I'm sorry, I only work with originals.
I don't know if you can read that.
To the Marshal of the County of Essex, you are hereby required to apprehend and bring before us Sarah Morrell of Beverly and Dorcas Hoare of Beverly, widow. So she was a widow? What year is this? Oh, 1692, which was 14 years after she was arrested for stealing.
Right.
So she was not a young woman.
No.
In the forenoon at the house of Lieutenant? LT?
Yes, Lieutenant Nathaniel
Ingersoll's in Salem Village in order to their examination relating to high suspicion of sundry acts of witchcraft done or committed by them. Wow. Upon the bodies of Mary Walcott Marcy, Lewis, Abigail Williams, Ann Putnam, and Elizabeth Hubbard, and Susanna Sheldon, dated April 30th, 1682. This makes me really sad.
Witchcraft was a real thing for people in early New England.
Oh, I know, I know.
Black magic was thought to be a reasonable explanation for all kinds of random misfortunes that might have happened. And people believed that some humans were interested in channeling that magic in order to harm or control others. These are, for the most part, very devout, believing Christians who believed as intensely in the forces of evil in the person of Satan.
Right. So the young women that are accusing her, do we know if they knew her well? I mean,
The Salem witch trial events began when 2 young girls, Betty Paris and Abigail Williams, ages 10 and 12, became strangely ill, having fits and contorting their bodies. After finding no other explanation for their behavior, a local doctor declared the girls were afflicted by witchcraft. Soon, other young girls appeared to be afflicted, and a wave of hysteria spread throughout the colony as community members set out to find the perpetrators. Many of those accused of being a witch were older women, like Dorcas Hoare.
I think it's significant that we remember about how old Dorcas was. Do you know how old she was in 1692?
When she was arrested, she was 43. For robbery, she was 43, so she was...
14 years later, yeah.
Oh my goodness, so she was not a young woman.
No, and especially in early New England, once women had reached the end of their reproductive years in her late 50s, this is not a society that really saw much use for older women.
That society. I don't think there's
Perhaps then as now. This was effectively like a deposition today.
Okay. Does she get to speak on her own behalf?
Yes.
Wow. Getting teary. I don't think I'm going to be able to read that at all. Okay. Several of the afflicted fell into fits as soon as she was brought in. Elizabeth Hubbard said, "This woman has afflicted me ever since last Sabbath, and she choked her own husband." What, they said she killed her husband?
Yeah, they're alleging that she killed her husband.
Abigail Williams and Ann Putnam said she told them that she had choked a woman lately at Boston. What does that mean?
So the Salem witchcraft trials were notable for their admission of what they call spectral evidence. That is the belief that witches could appear, do harm to others, even when they weren't physically present in the room.
Reasonable doubt, I'm sorry. Reasonable doubt.
Just imagine, she's sitting there in the courtroom by herself,
Right.
and they're accusing her of hurting them, and they're clearly falling down in fits, and they're being afflicted by something.
Dorcas Hoare, why do you hurt these? And she answers,
That's right,
I
that's right.
never hurt any child in my life. Oh, you are liars, and God will stop the mouth of liars. That's Dorcas.
That's Dorcas, yeah.
She must have been very, very, very emotional at this point. I will speak, she says, I will speak the truth as long as I live. Wow. That's painful. Wow. I feel so bad for her. I mean, she may have done some bad things, but not like that. I wonder where her daughters were during all this. You know, you'd think they would have tried to defend her.
I believe they're all grown at this point. They're
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
married, and they may have moved away.
Yeah.
So I have one more document for you.
No.
This is the indictment.
The jurors for our sovereign lord and lady, the king and queen, presents that Dorcas Hoare of Beverly in the county of Essex, widow, as after certain detestable arts called witchcrafts and sorceries, wickedly and feloniously hath used, practiced, and exercised at and within the township of Salem in the county of Essex. So they found her guilty?
No.
Right,
So they've gone ahead and they've officially charged her with witchcraft here.
She didn't stand a chance, did she?
No. How can you defend yourself against spectral evidence?
No. No. Okay. Wow. Thank you. So fascinating. I mean, it's such an incredible story anyway. But then when you think of it as your, as your family, it's really strange. It's interesting because all my life, I've been very uncomfortable with things touching my neck right here. And I remember even in college, I would joke to my friends, oh, I was probably, hanged as a witch or something. And I've continued to make that joke. I'm not sure I can ever make that joke again, but it's oddly prophetic.